Should you give up on getting your ex back? A lot of people want to know if it's actually worth continuing to wait, continuing the investment to try to get back together with someone who has left them. And I have some important thoughts on that I'm going to share with you in this video. Number one, the question you should be asking is, can you or should you try to get your ex back? That's the much better question, because when someone has left you, you should be openly questioning to yourself, to your confidant. You should be asking if you should try to get back together with them. Because if someone leaves you, that is the sign of someone who potentially could be a very bad partner. If they just walk away, they don't try to work on things, or they have this gotcha mentality where you make one little mess up, you didn't plan something right, maybe you seemed inconsiderate, or you didn't text them back fast enough. There's lots of small reasons that I have heard for people breaking up with someone. And you should actually consider their reasoning for leaving you in the equation of asking yourself if you should give up on trying to get them back, because you don't want to be with a partner who will just leave over nothing, or who will leave because they feel a little bit differently and they just want out. That is not the sign of a good partner, that they cannot keep that commitment. And so the fact that they have left you should leave you being the one asking if this is actually worth it, because sometimes it's not. I'm not saying that it is every time. I'm not saying that just because someone breaks up with you that you should never try to get back together with them. But what I am saying is that it's very healthy for you to actually ask the question of, should you? Is this person a good partner for you? Or would they be a good partner if you two got back together? Those are serious questions that, even though you're focused on them and trying to get them back, or at least largely you're focused on that, you definitely should keep circling back to that question. Is this person good partner material? Or did they leave me because they're not a good partner and they're an immature person who lacks empathy? Ask yourself that. And you should also ask yourself another question. If this was your friend or your family member and they were describing this person, how they left without really trying to work on things, or things that they did to you during the breakup, before the breakup, where you just describe this person, and ask yourself, if a friend or a family member told me the same thing about someone who broke up with them, what would I say? Would I say, yeah, you need to try to get that person back? Or would I say, that person sounds awful. You should be grateful that you're not with them anymore. You should try to move on with your life. Just ask yourself, try to take the emotions out of it by becoming somewhat of a neutral party to this, with your only motivation being that you care about the person. And imagine hearing it from them, where they describe your ex and how that person was to you. It may be that this person was very good to you and that this is a misunderstanding, or they're just confused, and maybe you two will get back together. But you also should put yourself in a neutral position where you can actually look at this and say, maybe this person's not a good partner. If you cannot actually allow yourself to think that, there could be a problem here, and you could be so emotionally attached that you refuse to see reality. At least question it. That's what intelligent people do, and emotionally intelligent people do. They're not afraid to question what they perceive reality is. And you should do that. Number two, when you're trying to decide if you should give up on getting your ex back, is there someone else? Now, I'm not saying that if there's someone else in their life that means you can't. What I am saying is that, just like number one, this is not something that you should have to be dealing with. Now, people do get back together when these things happen, and sometimes they're actually better off than they were before. But that's not the majority of cases. When they have left you and they are with someone else, if you are married, you need to get my free mini course on saving a marriage that you can get at marriageradio.com under the marriage help section. It's my free mini course on saving a marriage at marriageradio.com. If this is a dating relationship that we're talking about, then you really need to factor in that as you're wondering if this person is a good partner, since you're not married, since you are not as invested in this emotionally, financially, or with your time, this should be something that should give you reason to think that this is not a good partner. Doesn't mean that they're not, but this is definitely not a point in their favor. And you should think about that. And if they have been with this person for a while, especially if they've been with them while you two were together, and they finally broke up with you, and maybe they lied about it and now they're with this person, and they are assuming a new normal. They're trying to move on with their lives with this person. That is a difficult situation to overcome because a lot of times they are in limerence with this person. And I have a video about limerence, Limerence. It's the infatuation and honeymoon stage of a relationship when limerence usually comes and when people are going to experience it if they do. And it's where you're madly in love and the person can do no wrong. You don't see flaws. All you see is the future, and you're definitely not focused on other people or your past. And that can take a long time. If they seem madly in love with this person, you need to ask yourself, am I prepared to wait for a long time? 3 months, could be a year, could be longer. Limerence is kind of all over the place. Generally speaking, we're talking about an under a year type of phenomenon when they can actually begin to rationalize. Sometimes 5 or 6 months, sometimes less than that. But the thing is, you don't know. And do you want to wait around for this person to overcome limerence, which is a chemical response to a human being, and it's consistent for a while and then it begins to fade? It always fades. And a lot of people don't learn that, and they think that they just haven't found the right person. And when they do, they will keep those sky-high feelings of passion and magic, and it will never end. But that can't happen. It's humanly impossible. So people get in relationships and then the feelings fade. They don't feel the same strength of love that they used to. At least that's how they say it. If they put it into words, they say something like that, and they just leave and they find somebody else, and it feels like magic. And they'll even say, I've never felt this way before. A lot of times they will even say those things they said to you about how special the relationship feels. I've never had someone be this good to me. I've never had this kind of connection with someone. I've never felt this way before. How many times do we honestly say those things? Most people, if we're able to think back, we have said those to many different people because we think they're true. Because limerence in the moment feels like nothing you have ever experienced. And if that is what your ex is going through, it's difficult and they could be in it for a while. And then if they do get out of it, there's no guarantee that they will want to be back with you. And you should actually be very leery of this person because they could do it again when the feelings fade. And so again, I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm trying to get you to think about the situation and try to see this person and the situation for what it is, because a lot of times when you've been broken up with, you tend to romanticize the person. You tend to really put them up on a pedestal and make them perfect, and you'll do anything to get them back. And you begin to only remember the positives of the relationship, and you don't remember the times when maybe you even thought that this is not going well. Maybe we should take a step back, or maybe we should even break up. It's because you have lost something. You feel like it's been taken from you and you're trying to reclaim it. And that can really cause people to continue to invest even when this other person is with somebody else and they're gone. And I don't want you to needlessly wait and waste your life. Now, giving it 3 months, giving it a little bit of time to see if this person comes to their senses, to see how you feel in time, because one of the things that is so valuable for a person to learn is that your emotions and your feelings do change. They ebb and flow. In 2 or 3 months, you're going to feel different about at least some things than you do right now. So give yourself that time and make a decision then. If at that time you want to invest more, you want to wait more and see, that's your business. But I would encourage you to really take that seriously and to ask yourself if this person is worth waiting for, and if they're just going to leave again when the feelings fade and find somebody else because maybe they are addicted to limerence, or at least they really like it and they don't understand that it's not love. It's just a part of love that does fade and gives way to commitment and companionship and the feeling of family. And that passion is still there, but that sky-high limerence of a new relationship is not. And a lot of people don't understand that, and they will leave a relationship and go to another and exhaust limerence until it's gone, and they go to somebody else. And sometimes they go back to some of those people because a little bit of the feeling emerges again, and they go back, and then it fades out, and they leave again. Keep all these things in mind. Keep your eyes wide open if you're asking yourself if you should give up on getting your ex back or keep going. Before I get to number 3, get more information on my emergency breakup kit. It's a powerful guide to help you get your ex back. It's at myexbackcoach.com, myexbackcoach.com, and I've got the link in the description below. It's the emergency breakup kit. Thanks for listening to my commercial, and thank you for your support. Number 3, their breakup history. Do you know much about it? A lot of times people do. A lot of times this comes up. And you think back and you think all those people were in the past and it's over with, and now this person and I are going to ride off into the sunset. But if they have a history of breaking up with someone and they don't ever come back, think about that. If they have multiple breakups, they're always the person who does the dumping. This could be a situation where you will experience it again because that's this person's habit. They don't stick in a relationship. They think that they have all these options and they just leave if a small thing is out of place. Again, ask yourself, is this person a good partner? Is this person good for me? Or do I just want them because I don't have them and really they're causing me a lot of pain? We tend to want things sometimes that aren't good for us. And even though it hurts and it's frustrating, sometimes we have to back away and let go. And that may be what you need to do. It may not. Their breakup history may say that they've been left a lot and that they did make effort to try to fix it. And you may say, based on that, I'm going to give it some time and I'm going to see if they come around. And I'm going to see how I feel in 3 months. And then I'm going to make a decision. That makes sense. But if they have a breakup history where they're always the one leaving and they never come back, that's something you might want to consider, because this person may be someone who just leaves at the first sign of difficulty or when their feelings begin to normalize a little bit away from limerence, and they don't ever come back because they just keep moving forward with new people chasing that. Just like I mentioned in the point before, that's a possibility with this as well. If their breakup history is not good, you could be another one on the list. I hate to say that. Keep listening. I do have some encouraging things, but I want to be honest with you, and I want you to consider these things rather than just be hopeless or rather than just think that all you can do is wait around on them forever. Number 4, was the breakup all your fault? Is that what you're treated like? That you just weren't good enough? You didn't do this? You forgot about that detail? Just, it's small things, but somehow it's all your fault. And most of the time it was your fault. In other words, in the relationship, were they able to come to you and say, I thought about it and I'm sorry, I was wrong? If they're not able to do that, you might be dealing with someone who's very entitled and they just want you to always do what they want you to do. And if you ever mess up and they're not super happy with you, maybe limerence has kind of faded and the relationship is just in that stable phase where people tend to misunderstand and they confuse peace with boredom, and they think that they're bored when really it's just peace and they should embrace it. But some people, when they get to that stage, they will just leave for anything. And they'll blame it all on you, that you're just awful. And they're going to go with somebody else or they're going to be single or whatever because it's all your fault. And they don't share any of the blame for any of the issues. If you're dealing with someone like that, that's another situation where maybe you are better off without them. And even though it's very difficult right now, maybe you should think about moving on. Maybe you should actually take some steps toward that and give yourself time to feel differently, because of course it's not going to feel good when you first do it. Number 5, remember when you felt like you wanted to leave, if you did. Because it's very possible that in the relationship there were times when you thought that maybe you wanted to leave, but you stuck around. And that's the sign of a good partner, is that even if you think that you're not feeling those sky-high emotions anymore, or even if you're not getting along very well, or even if there's these issues, that we're going to work on it and see if this can actually survive and be strong again, and you're going to give effort towards that. That's what a good partner does. But if you have actually thought about leaving the relationship, but you didn't, and then this person does, well, then maybe the relationship wasn't as great as it seems like it was now for you. And a lot of that is because of the loss, that you feel like this has been taken away. It was outside of your control. Your ex became your dictator because you had no power. All you could do was beg them because they had all the power. They could decide if the relationship survived or if it was over. And you just had to wait on their decision and beg for their mercy. That's why a lot of people beg after a breakup, is that they can't think of anything else that they can do. All they can do is beg. And if you ever thought of ending the relationship while you were together with this person, then that tells you right there, this was not a perfect relationship. None of them are, but this was maybe not even a strong one if you saw reasons to leave, but you actually didn't. This could be, in some ways, you being saved from yourself, and that maybe this relationship was not good. Ask yourself that. Now, I said these things, and some of them were negative, and they seem like they were trying to suggest that maybe you just let go of this, and that may be the way that you need to go. However, I will say I have seen so many relationships come back from the things that I talk about in my videos, like the no contact rule, being slow to take them back but not ignoring them, and the things that I discuss in the emergency breakup kit. As a matter of fact, just before starting this video, I received 2 emails within just a few minutes of each other where a client had gotten their ex back. So 2 people got their exes back. that were coaching clients of mine. They went to my website and booked a coaching session with me, and a few weeks later, they're back together with their ex. It does happen quite a bit. But if you do book a coaching session with me, I will be asking some of these questions a lot of times because I want to know if this person's good for you. So this is kind of how I view some of this. And if you've just been broken up with, then a lot of this might not apply to you. But it's good to think about these things because you will probably have a point where you need to think about them. So do your best to be open-minded and look at them from a standpoint that is not just focused on the fact that you lost them, but try to unmask them and look at them as they really are. If you know someone going through a breakup who needs to see this video, please share this with them. If you like this video, please click the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to this channel. This has been Coach Lee, and as always, thank you for watching.